The Venezuela Public Prosecutor's Office informed national and international audiences the fight against strong organized crime groups is a central focus on its work in defense of peace, justice, and human rights. Intense work has been carried out to dismantle criminal groups such as the Tren de Aragua, or the gangs of El Coqui, Wilmer Bachiller, El Conas, Carlos Capas, Eduardo Delicias, and El Gigi Boscan, among others. The process to dismantle the Tren de Aragua was carried out in 2 stages, and a total of 48 people have been arrested and prosecuted for their participation in these criminal groups. As an institution that guarantees legality, the Public Prosecutor's Office is committed to fight against crimes and is willing to resume criminal cooperation with the U.S. government to achieve the extradition of a Venezuelan member of the transnational criminal groups that commit crimes throughout the continent.
Precisely, we are creating a new Ministry of the Popular Power for Hydrocarbons, directed to consolidate the policies directed not only to oil, in which we obviously have a plan for its growth that we are executing, but also the development of gas for the national industry, for the national living, for power supply, which is essential for thermoelectric power plants, the gas for industry, which has allowed us to carry out great achievements, and essentially petrochemicals. Gas for the petrochemical industry must be a goal for this year 2025, in addition to national consumption and industrial consumptions. And regarding the humanitarian aid from Venezuela to Colombia, it's not the first time, nor it will be the last one. The Colombian people displaced by violence in their territory, by the lack, and in a study from the 87, the abandonment of the borders in Colombian territory by the Colombian governments until now. Venezuela is safeguarding its border. A conflict there, and some people come here fleeing the violence. That's not new. Up to 5 million Colombians came to Venezuela. They live here today.
And now we move on off topics. In Palestine, after the ceasefire deal came into action, displaced civilians returned to destroy homes in the Gaza Strip to try and rebuild their life. From Al-Mawasi, our collaborator Huda Hegazi, tell us more.
Me he trasladado a la zona de Al-Mawasi en el centro de la Franja de Gaza.
I'm currently in the Al-Mawasi area in the center of the Gaza Strip, a coastal area which is full of gas and refugee camps where people evacuated to during this genocidal war. After the ceasefire, when I came here, I thought I was going to find people taking down their tents and going back to their homes, like for example in the southern area, in Rafah, where the army has withdrawn. But unfortunately, I found that despite the ceasefire, despite the end of the war, people are in the same situation. I mean, the tents are still there. I didn't find an image of people returning to their homes, at least in the center and south of the Gaza Strip, and the humanitarian situation literally is the same. Even when I arrived at this camp, I met a family coming from the Rafah area, specifically from the south of the Gaza Strip, who today went to see their home, or at least what is left of it, and literally found nothing of their home. Now we will talk to them so they can tell us what they will do in this case, where will they move to now, and whether they will return to their destroyed home or remain in this place.
En este caso, donde seguirá y si volverá a su vivienda destruida o permanecerá en este lugar.
Today, when you went to Rafah, what did you find? I found a lot of destruction in Rafah. Even my house was destroyed. We had 2 houses and both of them are destroyed. I tried to take out some of our things, but there was hardly anything left. We were in shock with what we saw. Even my father was going to faint from what he saw. He could not assimilate why our 2 houses were destroyed. When you saw that you had no house, what are you going to do now? Are you going to stay here or what? I don't know what we're going to do, and we don't know where we're going to go. We're going to wait to see what is going to happen, and we will do the same thing that people are going to do. I mean, the war is over, but life will not go on the same. Yes, of course, the war is over, but the situation is still very, very difficult, and there are still very difficult days ahead for us.
Como nos ha asegurado, este joven asegura que a pesar de haber finalizado la guerra, la situación humanitaria y catastrófica que están viviendo los gazatíes es la misma.
As this young man has assured us, despite the end of the war, the humanitarian and catastrophic situation that the Gazans are living is the same. There is still a long process of reconstruction, there is still a long process for the people to know what they're going to do. We were saying before that yes, the war is over, at least the bombings are over, the death is over, but nevertheless, now the people will have to face a much more difficult war, that of returning to life. The Gazans need a lot of time to return at least a little bit to what their life was before. The people, as we can see, are still in the same condition, living in tents, in inhuman conditions.
Viviendo en tiendas de campaña en una situación catastrófica sin tener un lugar en donde poder refugiarse, sin tener una vivienda,
without having a place where they can take shelter, without having access to a house, and therefore that return that everybody had in mind, unfortunately so far, will not be possible. People will continue to live in these camps for a long time, or they will even remove their tents from this place and install them on top of the ruins of what used to be their main home. Therefore, life in shelters, in tents, will continue being a reality in the Gaza Strip for many years to come.
La vida en refugios y en tiendas de campaña seguirá permaneciendo en la Franja de Gaza durante largos años.
The investors, the whole world knows it. North to south, east to west. In this earth, everybody knows that Venezuela is a land beneficial for investment, everything, tourism, petrochemical, iron, steel, aluminum, gold production.
And as we informed on our first segment, on Monday, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. And in this context, we contact our special envoy to Washington, D.C., Carlos Montero. Hi, Carlos. What can you share with us at this hour?
These hours we are processing what Trump said after swearing to be the 47th president of this country. There were so many things he said, so many things that they are impossible to do, that, I mean, there are different reactions. He talks, after swearing in, he talked about Panama, that the canal is going to go back to USA. Something is absolutely impossible. The president of Panama already said, you know, that's not going to happen. He talked about immigration, something he said a lot during the campaign about deportation. Something is scaring a lot of people here in the capital and in the whole country. Let's see what's happened tomorrow. Maybe in Chicago they are going to start massive deportation. He talked about the situation in the border. He's going to declare an emergency, something he's already active. There is an application that people who wants to apply to come to this country legally, they can ask for an appointment in this application. The application is discontinued in this moment, so that a lot of people are upset for that, because if they want to come here legally, that application was something was helping them a lot. Now they cannot do it, so that is really something. Maybe they are going to try to come illegally. You don't know, to cross the border. He's going to send more militaries to the border. He talked about Mars. He said that the American flag is going to be on Mars. Elon Musk, one of his faithful helpers since he won the election, was really happy. He was in the Congress with also Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, was there. Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, was there. Also, there were not many people because it was done in a small place due to the weather. It's very cold. The idea was to do it outside, but they have to do it in the rotunda of the Congress, a place that no more than 300 people they were allowed. But the people who want to see Donald Trump here in the Capitol, they were expecting 200,000 people. I'm sure much less came when they found out on Friday that it's going to be inside the ceremony and all the traditional parade and festivities. But all those people, they are in a stadium that's really close to where we are, a few blocks. There is a lot of security there. It's called the Capital One Arena. It's where the basketball team, the men's and women, WNBA, NBA, they play there, the Wizards of Washington. It has a capacity for 20,000 people. They are there right now, and Donald Trump, after signing those executive orders, he said they're going to be around 100. He's in the White House right now, and he's going to go there. Over there are a lot of people waiting. They want to celebrate the presidency, the comeback of Donald Trump. During the whole afternoon, there were different groups, different celebrities talking to the crowd. Some of them, they spent the whole night outside, even extremely cold. It was minus 10 degrees Celsius in the middle of the night, but they were camping outside. So today, this morning, when they opened the doors, they were the first one to get in, and there was a big scream, and they can watch the ceremony in the Congress in that place. Trump is going to be there, and he's going to talk to them, and we are going to pay attention what he has to say, but we are already still processing all those announcements he did today in his first speech as president of the USA. I'm going back to you to the studio.
Thanks for all the information. We were speaking to our special envoy, Carlos Montero, in the framework of the swearing-in ceremony of President-elect Donald Trump.
The Venezuela Public Prosecutor's Office informed